morning. Now, some of us, especially us 90s kids, have played on some sort of video game system. I specifically played on a Game Boy when I was just a child. Now, show of hands, who else has actually played a video game, including um, some of the games online? Oh, so most of us. And in the application of games, there's actually the military uses games, and most of the game industry actually sells strategy games to the military. Now, some of you might think, oh, it might just be the first-person shooter games, and as a matter of fact, those are actually frowned upon in the military industry. Now, research from the Leiden University in the Netherlands have actually made plenty of research on the cognitive abilities on video gamers. Now, cognitive abilities such as situational awareness, critical thinking, and strategy flexibility. Now, each of which are a bit different, and we will go ahead and start with situational awareness. Now, situational awareness is the knowledge of what is around you and your environment. And most of us do it in a natural basis. You know, we wake up where we wake up, in our room or someplace else sometimes. And in combat, situational awareness is very key. You must know what needs to be done and who is around you. Now, in the military obviously supports this type of situational awareness, and especially for officer use. Now, it's not so much in the infantry level. Now, from what the research I have made on the military and video games, a lot of the video games are actually frowned upon in enlistment, but in officer use, it's almost allowed. It's practically like, oh, you're not playing a video game? So now the Department of Electrical, Computer, and Engineering in Mississippi State University, they allow sci-fi video games specifically for their students because it raises awareness on certain power structures and especially a lot of the physics. So, but not only situational awareness is necessary, but critical thinking for those situations is also a must. Now, critical thinking is a bit different than situational awareness. Situational awareness is knowing what's around you. Critical thinking is knowing what to do with the surroundings and knowing how to practically manipulate it. Now, the magazine Exceptional Parent makes the impact of the Sims game, which a lot of you have mostly heard about the Sims, or at least played it. And the Sims, it's a life game that you practically run a life of a simulated character, and you make it go to the bathroom, you make it go shower, go to work. Sometimes it'll make things on its own, but you just kind of steer it away, like, no, you're not going to watch TV. You're going to work out or something. So now the Sims, it made an impact do this test with 40 test subjects, and each one were given certain scenarios. And these scenarios were given with respect to the critical thinking aspect, where the situations that were happening, they were thought, oh, well, I don't want to watch TV. I actually want to play, or I want to play a video game in that video game to increase a certain aspect or a certain scenario. And certain test subjects, when given these scenarios, they were not, they did not want to perform them due to certain consequences. Now you're thinking, video games, there's a lot to them, but as far as the situational awareness and critical thinking, now it goes into strategy flexibility, which is using both critical thinking and situational awareness when performing video games. Now, strategy flexibility is knowing the situational awareness that happens at a constant instant, and critical thinking is knowing how to use those situations, right? So in University of Texas, they performed the same test on 40 different subjects on a game called StarCraft. StarCraft is a real-time strategy game, which implies that a lot of situations happens and a lot of scenarios just occurs. And a lot of video gamers, after they perform these 40 hours of game in these StarCraft systems, then they practically have better cognitive abilities afterwards. So that is video games, and make sure that you play some video games sometime.